put it up on the morning and pro. Okay, so usually our meetings aren't hot ticket items. I doubt there's too many people that are going to be disappointed if we're not live streaming right now, but my apologies to anyone who is. See this belatedly.
You're not live streaming?
I'm not live streaming. I'm going to just record it and have somewhere to post it to YouTube tomorrow. More information than you need to know, but because we moved our meeting a week earlier than usual, usually I'm leading Complete Streets Advisory Council on the second Tuesday, so my live stream is going in the other room as well. I'm going to guess that that's part of what's happening tonight. So,
do we have a quorum?
Actually,
so I'm sorry. Say it again, Lynn.
Do we have a quorum?
Yes, I believe that we do have a quorum. Yes.
Okay, then I move that Anthony become chair.
Wait, are we?
But I want him to be chair.
I hope that's a compliment. My dear, I know you're enthusiastic. Hold on 1 second. Let me get going. So I see it.
I want to be the first one to do it.
I love it. I love the enthusiasm. So I see that we have a guest here tonight. So I would love to invite us all to do a round of introductions so that we can say hi to them in case they've never met us before. So I'll start us off. So I'm Emily Flynn. I'm the Director of Health and Wellness for the City of Kingston. I coordinate the Well Kingston Commission. I'm going to go around the room first, then I'll go to the folks on Zoom. So I'm going to Kyle and then.
I'm Kyle Meeker. I'm a commissioner, and in my other life, I'm a consultant with the Gates Foundation, public health consultant.
I'm Anita Softness. I'm also a commissioner and then also a family physician.
I'm Anthony Fitzpatrick. I use TML for commissioner.
Thank you. Sam, I see you in my top left, and then Arlene, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Hey, Aisha. Welcome to Well Kingston. My name's Sam Necrason. I live by the high school, Ward 9, represent. Joined Live Well in October of last year, and really grateful to be a commissioner here with this great group. Professionally, I work for a software company. And I'll go ahead and popcorn over to Arlene.
My name is Arlene Puentes, and I'm a commissioner. I've also am ambitious about the Play Well focus group. And good evening, everybody.
Lovely, lovely. Aisha, would you like to introduce yourself? We're happy to see you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aisha. I'm a resident in Ulster County, and I'm just very passionate about children's well-being, and I have kids of my own. So this cause is very important and very near and dear to my heart. That's why I just wanted to join and see how it goes. And yeah, I would, and this is very new to me, but hopefully I will learn as I go. So yeah, thank you all for having me.
Hopefully we could all learn together. I'm fumbling through every day. We're learning every day. Aisha, before we jump into the agenda, any quick questions you have about Live Well? Happy to answer anything in this moment. Otherwise, we'll just move into our meeting.
Yeah, not right at this moment, but I'm just absorbing everything right now. So, maybe in future I will have so, but right now just observing everything and just taking all in.
Well, we're so happy to have you. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. I've got some printouts of the agenda here, and I put the link to the agenda in the chat if anybody on Zoom would like to follow along there. So first up, Arlene, I know you're excited, but first up, I wanted to just call, there's an opportunity to approve the December's meeting minutes. I have a copy here on the table, or if anyone feels ready to make the motion, I could hear it now. Motion to approve. I heard Anita first. Do I hear a second? I heard Kyle. Thank you. So I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the December meeting minutes, you can say aye, give me a thumbs up. I see Arlene with a thumbs up.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, heard everybody in the room. Sam, how about you? Did you want to vote?
Sure. Aye.
Awesome. Motion passes. Thank you so much, everybody. All right. So we've got on the top of the agenda some administrative matters. The first one is about our meeting schedule. So in our the resolution that made this committee. It calls that in the first meeting of the year, we will set our schedule. I have heard, and not to put you on the spot, Anita, but I know that Wednesdays work best for you, and I am a little worried to move it because we don't want to make it harder for you to join us. But now would be the time to talk about if you wanted to discuss a time change or a day change. Would anyone like to do that, or does anyone for some reason like to keep it at this time?
It is my only day.
Well, it's your only day. Yeah, so.
I work the other days,
Yeah.
I can't come.
Yeah,
Decent.
usually it works for me. No objections to Wednesdays at, I guess, third Wednesday at 4:15 or whatever our cadence is. It works.
It works for me as well.
Works for me.
Okay, wonderful. I will mention already, I have a conflict March 18th, so I will not be here for the March's third Wednesday. I'm proposing maybe we move it to March 25th for that month. Do we want to consider that now, or would you like to look at that month as we get closer to it?
If we were to do that, the Climate Smart meets here at,
On the 25th?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that is at 5:45. 5:30.
So maybe not the 25th, all right.
Oh, so
Or
We can just send her with.
we
we could definitely end
could
early.
either do that or start with 15 minutes.
I'm pretty much okay with this time on Wednesday, so it's really whatever works for everyone else.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm bringing up so on the City of Kingston's calendar, on their main page, you can see all of the meetings. And so looks like community preservation is earlier in the day, and it looks like Climate Smart might be the only conflict. So it's in conference room 1. So it looks like conference room 2 is still free. Let me just double check one more thing. Public safety is in conference room 1 as well. So, Anthony, you said that starts at 5. Yeah, so the 25th might work out, and we could try to end early. That's all right with you.
That goes.
Yeah. Great. All right, so we'll plan to meet on the 25th in March. Thank you, everybody, and thanks for that. I think I'm gonna call for a vote for the meeting time, just so it's official. So I could hear a motion for the Well Kingston Commission to meet on the third Wednesdays, usually 4:15 p.m. Do I hear a motion from someone?
So moved.
Thank you, Anthony. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, and then, so all in favor, aye, thumbs up? It's a thumbs up, thank you so much, everybody. The motion passes, right, okay. All right, thank you, we're moving along very smoothly here. So next up comes to our chair positions. We've been talking about this for quite a few months. At our December meeting, we had an informal conversation, and I feel like we came up with a pretty good potential slate. We know that Arlene has a lot of passion for Anthony being chair. I've asked Kyle if he didn't mind going into the vice chair role. Anita expressed interest in secretary. Sam said he might be okay with engagement. That would leave age well open at this moment, but we talked a little bit about asking this woman, Lori Arios, to see if she's interested. That would also leave eat well and grow well open. Arlene has expressed interest in play well, and then travel well. We currently don't have a person in mind. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to change about that slate? Any thoughts or feedback on it? Arlene, you're muted if you're talking.
This is Arlene. Could you remind me, do we have commission spots open?
We do. We have quite a few. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We currently have 5 open seats.
Oh, okay, so that's why we haven't filled the other focus groups. All right, that's my
Exactly.
question. Okay.
Are there people on Grow, I guess it's Grow Well and Eat Well that, are there members of those groups that would actually be interested in becoming commissioners or not so much?
I have brought it up in both groups repeatedly. I don't think so. I'm looking at Anthony because you come to both of them regularly. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No. And that's the sort of thing that's very difficult to judge right now when it's not much plant stuff going on.
Cindy acts as our chair for Grow. She is not interested in going to any more meetings. She is a gardener. She is an in-person person. We've asked her repeatedly. She's not interested. Eat Well, Midnet was the chair of Eat Well. She actually has just stepped down due to time. She doesn't have time to do it, but she still is joining the meetings. She is not interested in being on the commission. There's an organization called Crop Shop that does food processing here in Ulster County. They express a little bit of interest, but if these are the kind of things someone express interest, I try to give them lots of information and then sometimes it's quiet for a little while. So I'm going to keep working with them.
Yeah.
As for all of this work, we will continue to invite people in and try to find them. But at this moment, there is not people in Eat Well or Grow Well that are interested.
You're pretty involved in both of those groups.
Yeah.
I guess you are as well, and Eat Well and Grow Well.
I haven't been to Eat Well in a long time.
I'm just wondering if maybe we don't necessarily need representation if there's already, you're already engaging in the meetings and could kind of come back and represent those groups, even if informally.
Yeah. So and so the default is that I will be the connector. So I go to all of the meetings. I will do that. The whole point of having sort of these different roles is to try to bring other connections in as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the default is that I will absolutely still fulfill that connection. Yeah.
I did ask my colleague.
Yeah.
And she's thinking about it. Okay. I forgot that her old friend is Suzanne.
Yeah.
Who was on the commission for a couple of years, so she's going to talk to Suzanne.
Okay. Wonderful.
So I think she would be interested in many of these, committees, but
yeah. So today, it's really just about sort of setting our intent for these roles. And then I was hoping we could have a conversation about recruitment to join the commission. And Aisha, I see your hand is up. What's your question? Or what's your comment?
Yes, hi. So I hear some recruitment about filling some stuff. So what are the requirements to be a commissioner, or what are you looking for exactly?
There's not a lot of requirements to be a commissioner, mostly just to join us occasionally in these meetings. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
Yeah. Aisha, I believe you have applied. We would love to have you if you would like to join us. What else do you need to know? Ideally, you would play one of the roles here, and you don't have to be a content expert. You don't have to know everything. I envision these roles as that each person works with me to help guide me to develop these things. I'll take as much help as you're willing to give, but it's really more about helping us not forget to connect with the focus team or to work on the bucket of work that has been identified. Did I explain that right? Do you have more questions?
No, not at the moment.
Well,
Is there a requirement to be a resident of the city of Kingston?
no, you don't have to be a resident. Ideally, they have a connection to Kingston of some kind. Like, I don't know that the commission would recommend someone who lives remotely in Vermont, for example, but I think we definitely have had people that live even outside of the county but work in the city of Kingston. That's often a connection.
I live in Sotheby's.
Yeah.
But I work in Kingston. Yeah, except every day. Yeah, except for Wednesdays.
Yeah. And connections can be live, work, play, or worship. So just some kind of connection to the city of Kingston.
I think that a requirement is just your life experience and your opinions.
I like that sentiment. I agree. Yeah. Right. So again, we sort of have this slate. I'm not hearing too many people expressing an interest in changing their. Does anyone, let me ask that directly. Is everyone okay with what they're sort of tentatively put as? Okay. Cool. Then I'm gonna prompt you if I could hear a motion to approve the slate of officers for the Well Kingston Commission for 2026. Would someone like to make that motion?
No, that's mine. Jeez. Stop stepping on my lines, Anthony.
She may not love you as much anymore.
I'm gonna put Arlene, she wants it so much. Who would like to be my second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Anita. All right. So, we call the motion, all in favor, give me an eye, thumbs up.
Aye.
All right. I didn't see Sam, but that's fine. I think the motion still passes. Oh, I see a thumbs up. Thank you, Sam. Great. Yay! All right, this is something we've been talking about for months now. I really appreciate your help fumbling our way through it. Thank you so much. I'm really pleased. A few thoughts that I have on that. My hope was now that we have the structure sort of formalized and we have some open roles, my thought was that we could advertise them. And I would not be surprised. We have thought in the past that just by having an open be on this commission, that people didn't know where they wanted to be. But by having a specific ask, like, please come in and help us with development, we thought that maybe people might be sparked for that specific task. So let's try that out in 2026. We'll, my thought is that I would go through a little bit of a pretty informal but quick process of planning out what are the best places to advertise that. I was hoping that Sam might give me some feedback on it, and then we would put that word out there. So I'm thinking the mayor's newsletter, the website, maybe some social media posts at the bare minimum, but maybe we'll think through some things. If anyone has any other ideas of how to get out the word, I see early.
Would a press release to the Freeman, would that be printed, do you think?
Press releases, well, the city of Kingston, all the press releases go through Summer Smith, who is our director of communications, and I think she sort of limits them to sort of major announcements. Well Kingston could sort of do our own press release if we wanted to. I don't want to call it a press release. I might say it's like an informational notice, more like I don't know. Sometimes in the Freeman, there's like lifestyle things where they say the senior meetings, for example. I think it might be more in that section instead of sort of a formal press release.
And you could run it by Summer also.
Absolutely, yeah.
Could you advertise at Novo, since aren't those people development people, or we saw them?
We could see if there's somebody in Novo that would be interested. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because that's their field as it is. I see.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Well, maybe their field is spending, they're raising.
Yeah, more spending.
Yeah.
But
But they may have some interest in development or some experience.
I think it's a good idea.
Or may know of other people in that world. But that's not really a large grant organization, is it?
It was in Kingston, even like kind of broadly. Yeah, that's by far the biggest funder, private foundation funder in the city of Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They also have very few people at very little time.
Yeah.
What's that?
There's very few people that work for them, and they
Yes.
don't have much time.
It's just, but they
Doing what? But yeah, they might know. That's a good idea.
They're very well, like Megan, who runs Novo in Kingston, she's very well connected to the community. She's lived her whole life. She often has great recommendations.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have a meeting coming up
Yeah.
to talk about a networking kitchens grant that we have coming up. So I'm gonna ask her.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I love that idea. Other ideas?
I don't know. I mean, North Kingston has a United Way or other foundations operating.
We do.
Must.
Yeah, I think it's either Ulster County United Way or it's a regional United Way. Is it Ulster County? Yeah. but thank you for that in any way. There's also the Hudson Valley Foundations, what's that called?
The community foundation.
Community foundations, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be another. They're also giving money out, but they may have ideas.
Right, and they seem to be offering more like guidance and trainings these days. They've had recently like a strategic webinar that I watched. So they seem to not just be doing grant flow throughs, but actually doing like capacity building things. So that I haven't connected with them actually.
What do you envision the development person doing?
Yeah, just a little bit of what we're talking about. So since, as many of you know, because we are mostly grant funded and there is a certain unsustainability to that, it is thinking through how to make Live Well Kingston more sustainable financially. It could be a little bit of grant research. Sam did some great grant research a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And the City of Kingston has a great grants department, but even then we sometimes need help envisioning what the program would be for the right grant. Meaning the grants department, at writing a grant application, the city is really successful.
Mm-hmm.
But saying, here's the USDA pot of money for food promotion. What would that program actually look like?
Uh-huh.
Thinking through that part of it is what I think I would need help somehow with. Yeah. Development can also just be a little bit of like looking at Live Well Kingston and thinking about, in partnership with all of us, what programs are working, what programs aren't. Kind of some strategic thinking. Any other thoughts, since we're sort of still doing it, about outreach? Any
I think Kristen may come back.
she may. I have asked her already.
Yeah.
Feel free to ask her. Kristen, was our colleague and now is at the county. We would love to bring her back in. I'm also would love.
She has so much energy.
Yes, she does. Yes, I feel
I put off a little bit maybe.
yeah, I feel the lack of her capacity every day. All right, I feel like these are great steps that we've made tonight. I'm happy to come back to this again in the future, unless there's any last thoughts on it.
Yes, I was wondering, are city employees allowed? And if there's some way to tell the city employees that there's opportunities?
Interesting thought. Generally, staff play more of a liaison role. We usually don't participate in the role of like the voting. So for Complete Streets, for example, I'm the staff liaison there as well, and I don't vote. I'm just a member. Staff usually educate and guide, but we don't usually play the role of being on the commission itself. But it's a really interesting idea, Arlene. There's a few staff members that I would love to get to join us more often, just as, to just join the meetings, but I don't know that they would apply and be on the commission.
I'm sure like someone could be a traffic electrician for the city during the day and then, come and be here and volunteer their time to continue to work on the city's work.
Yeah.
But
I find sometimes city staff, for example, would rather volunteer at like a different level of government because sometimes it's a little too close to home to work in one place all day than to volunteer there as well. Many staff do give a lot of their free time and resources, so sometimes that's a little bit, they want to go do something else. But I love the idea. I think it's fabulous. Right. Okay, just a few little admin things. There was no letters of support this month. There was no letters of advocacy this month. That said, it is occurring to me, we've asked other people for letters of support so Mark and I make that, tell you a little bit about that now. So the City of Kingston has applied for 2 major grants that we have not heard officially back yet. But both grants are expressing interest and have asked us for follow-up information, which makes us think that they're really promising. So many of you have heard me talk about the NYSERDA Clean Mobility Grant for rentable bike system. We hope that's going forward. It's not official yet. We haven't received it, but that seems promising. Then the second one that I mentioned just a moment ago is a USDA food promotion program, kitchen network grant. This was a grant that Kristen really led when she was here. It would have created sustainability for her position if that had worked out that way. The USDA has asked for us to get some additional letters of commitment from folks, so we reached out to the Farm Hub, the Well Kingston YMCA Farm Project, and the Crop Shop, and all three have provided us letters of support, which is fabulous. So if we were to get that grant, we would again have say a food content expert position in the Department of Health and Wellness. So I'm really hopeful that that could happen. I'll keep you updated as that goes. That'll be a major program in my department if we get it.
What's the name of the grant?
USDA Food Promotion Program. FPP. There might be another word in there, but that's pretty close to the name of it.
Would that kind of continue to work that Tristan was doing on the CHIS grant? Or is it totally?
It'd be a little different. So it would be in the food systems world, but this one would be over the course of the grant, we would bring up to 6 kitchens on board. Right, the first year we would work with 2. That would be the Cornell Cooperative Business. I'm not getting the language right. On Cornell Street, there's the Cornell Creative Center. They have a kitchen there, and then the Old Dutch Church also has a kitchen. They act like commercial kitchens. And the idea is that we would bring them and others into a network, into a project advisory team. We would select software that they could all use to rent out the space. We would provide training for them and others. And then at the Midtown Neighborhood Center, we would make that into a teaching kitchen to teach people how to set up their kitchens and do lots of food promotion. And we would continue our cooking workshops and our food promotion program, which was the harvest of the month with those beautiful posters that we did. Over the course of the grant would be for 3 years. By the 3rd year, we would ideally bring on up to 6. And the additional kitchens, they might be from houses of worship that are not already commercial. There's quite a few hoops to jump through to make sort of a community kitchen turn into a commercial kitchen. And so there would be a lot of support for them to do that. And in fact, it would also include a stipend for each location to have staff to help run their kitchen.
That's great. That's very interesting.
So basically a whole new program.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me share about that. All right. Any other questions about administration? Otherwise, we're going to get into some kind of brainstorming a little bit here.
Is Julian still part of the commission?
She has not told me that she's not yet. We haven't seen her in a few months, and we've been getting some weird emails from her.
Yeah, she seems to be responding to invitations. I hope there's nothing there.
I don't even know if it's her responding. It feels, Anthony made a PDF of one of them for me, because I actually was not getting them. They seem to be just going to everyone that was like CC'd on a calendar invite.
Yeah, they were exactly that.
Yeah.
Calendar invites.
So I was hoping she was going to come tonight, and I thought
And then she was coming to these meetings, but
Oh yeah, why is it that? But yeah, you get when meetings are moved, it's from. I'm like.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there.
Yeah.
So if she does not make it tonight, I was going to reach out to her tomorrow and ask her if she knows what's going on. And maybe also just check in with her and see if she's going to join us again soon.
Okay, because I feel like she just joined and then we didn't see her.
She was going to join virtually. I don't think she ever actually came in person.
She came.
Oh.
She would have said here that there were 2 women.
Yes.
Applying. One said here, one said there. I don't actually remember who was who.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other one, Chris, she did formally step down from
Right, I
direction.
remember that.
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
She works at the Decades, right? Okay, yeah. But I don't know. Jillian was on once on.
Yeah, when we
She
had
was helping with the bus thing.
exactly when we had the fluoride presentation, she was engaged in this discussion.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it would be good to reach out, because then we would have another 6 openings. What is the official rules? Do we have a problem with that?
One is half of the commissioners.
However number we have.
Yeah, exactly. So usually I like to have a lot of commissioners because then if people can't make a meeting, then it's easier to get half of it. But you all are on my star commissioners these days, you all keep coming. So as long as most of you keep coming, I can get the 50%, and then that's what makes the quorum. Yeah. And people get extra credit for calling in when they are not able to come in person too. So I appreciate it. Right. So I'm going to bring up sort of the main topic of our meeting tonight, which was a little bit of brainstorming through what the commission should work on. Now, I know that this document says 2025, and that is because we created this document about a year ago now. And this was a document that we created as part of when we were talking about our strategic reflection that led to sort of our mission, vision, and structure change. This was part of that process where we sort of, it's a very simple document. We sort of just dumped all of the things that we thought the commission might want to work on or felt unclear about the commission. And I'm bringing it up again now so that we can sort of identify what we might like to do in 2026. I think it was in November, I presented to you all a bit of an update of what's happening in the focus teams. So I hope that you can draw on some of that information and then look at some of the content here to help us sort of identify what we might want.
I think under the first health outcomes,
Yeah.
I think it should say even though incidence is not higher, right? It says high diabetes, mortality, and hospitalization rate, even though the incidence is not high.
So it should be, it's not.
Yeah, because that was the concern, that
Yeah.
even if it's not higher, there still is
Yeah.
high mortality and hospitalization rate.
Thank you for that. Great. Yeah. So what Anita is referencing here is that we had talked about how to set our goals for the Live Well Kingston Commission, and we were talking about trying to connect it to the county does a health assessment every 5 years, 3 years, maybe 3 years.
That one that I had looked at
Yeah.
was every 4 years.
4 years.
But now Ulster County has like a separate assessment, right, which I just was thinking that I haven't yet looked at. That was the one that Kristen presented at the last county meeting.
And she's presenting again at the next county meeting. So I think here's how my understanding of it. In the past, Ulster County has collaborated regionally to create their community health assessment.
Right.
This year, Ulster County decided to do it individually. So they just did their county.
I see. So they don't have to participate in that Hudson?
They don't have to.
Oh, interesting.
It is.
I thought that was kind of
Yeah. And I think part of it is Eve Walter, the commissioner from the county, is an epidemiologist. So that is kind of like her doctor of it, I believe.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think that's great.
Yeah, which is fabulous for us. So the really great data that we get.
Yeah. She really did not like this data. The old data.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to get an invite to that meeting.
Okay. Yeah, and you'll see here. So here in my update 2, here is a link. Anita, if you want to go to this document, here's a link to the story map. That is a fancy way of saying it's a website that shows their community health assessment in a really beautiful way.
Okay.
And I think Sam added in here a link to the press release. So thank you, Sam. So this is the new data. I read through it. Kristen is presenting it at the next Healthy Ulster Council on January 22nd. If any of you all would like to go, just let me know and I'll make sure you get an invite to it. Okay. And I think that we will find out, I think that Kristen will kind of process that information for us a little bit, which will be nice.
I'd like to go as well. That's
Awesome.
cool.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, just a question.
Yeah.
Kind of similar. Well, sorry, this is taking us a little bit back to the food systems plan.
Yeah.
What was the next steps that I'm trying to remember? Like, I think there was going to be some implementation plan or something. We were just forgetting. Do you see? I guess maybe a precise question would be like, do you see a role for the commission in the next steps of the food system plan?
Well, great question. So, just so Aisha knows what we're talking about, we just did a food systems plan for the city of Kingston. It has a lot of recommendations for, it's not just about food security, it's also about resiliency of the food system, especially during that. I just presented about the food system plan at Eat Well, and my real hope there was that Eat Well might become the task force that does the implementation for the food systems plan.
Right.
But instead of, at one time, I think Kristen envisioned a separate task force. That feels, I don't know if we've got enough people for another task force. I think I can only get so many people to come to a meeting, so let's try to do it in Eat Well, sort of my way of saying it today. But what's exciting about that is that there are some really great recommendations in there that feel very tangible to me that I think Eat Well may be interested in. So when I presented it on yesterday, the two things that were coming up that seemed to be the most interesting to folks was working on SNAP access. SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Act. So that is the food, that is the resources that allow people to get food that when they qualify. And so our thought was maybe we want to map. There is a great map of the retailers that offer SNAP, and then we can decide which retailers are not offering it and try to see what we can do to encourage them to offer it. That absolutely will take some staff capacity that we don't currently in this moment have, but we can identify it and then we can try to find out ways to implement it. So that was attracted some attention. The other one was maybe piloting a CSA fair, a community supported agriculture fair. So many farms in our area offer people to buy kind of shares into their farm. And our idea was maybe we could bring a few different farms together, maybe at the Kingston Library or another community center, and people could meet and greet and see if they're interested in CSAs. So those kind of two very tangible things I thought might be good to work on.
Thank you.
Okay. Please let me know questions. I feel like we're trying to cover a lot here today, and I'm sure there's some things that might not be clear. So moving on down this document, other things that we had identified that the commission might need is to, let's see, we talked about our common agendas. That's the idea that we as a coalition bring many people together. What is it that all of the different actors all want to move forward? We talked a little bit about our welcoming process, and I think this is still a gap that we have. I would really love it if we could work a little bit more on, I started to do it a little bit when I meet with people, but I sort of print out a few things and say, and I sit with them with coffee and try to explain what Live Well is, but I would love to make that into more of a formal welcome packet, for example, or other recommendations that other folks have about how we can welcome people in so that, I think as we've all experienced, Live Well is a lot of things, and it can be overwhelming, and it's hard to explain it, so it would be really...
I'd like to make a comment.
Please?
I noticed that Ayesha is nodding. So I think she agrees, and that maybe as a new person interested in us, that we could, and I'm fairly new, and so is Sam, that maybe she and I and Sam could think about it and talk about it, about what we think we would want if we were thinking about joining this commission. You keep nodding. You see, I see it. You see, she's nodding.
Yeah, I agree with you. To a certain extent, it's very important for new members or interested people to understand what it is. And as Emily said, it's a lot to take in and it's hard to explain, which I agree. So, to have something structured would be a great start. So that's my idea.
So do you think that you and I could back and forth some emails, and maybe if we're kind, we can CC Emily, just as a courtesy. But because I'm not sure I could explain it, but I think talking to someone else would help. And what interested me about your introduction is that you said you were passionate about health. And so maybe that's what is needed, is someone who is passionate. And I wish we could get more people, because I think that too many people are spending too much time watching television and doing stupid things with their time. And that this is a way to not do something stupid with your time. Sorry. That's,
I agree with you, and I'm open. I think it will be a good start. For me personally, it's like a lot of it's like a puzzle right now, and I'm trying to bring all the pieces together, for me to understand it. So yeah, I'm open. I'm willing to help. Just guide me through a little bit. And yeah.
I dare say that we would guide each other, because again, I'm fairly new.
Okay.
So I think that we would guide each
Oh,
other, and we'd be CCing Emily,
Emily.
and then I think we would maybe come up with something.
Okay.
I love it. Thank you both so much. Oh, this makes me so we're already setting some goals here. It's some next steps forward. I love it. Thank you so much, Arlene, for leading that. Great. I will follow up with both of you to see how to connect you both. Fabulous. Another thing that I think Sam here highlighted as something that he was interested in is creating a landscape assessment of who is doing what to help identify Well Kingston's unique comparative advantage and where partnerships should be strengthened. So often people ask, who's doing that in the community? Or people will say, we should do this. And I say, oh, actually, the YMCA Farm's already doing a great youth gardening program. So maybe it's, again, a little bit of a communications problem, but a way of somehow collecting and creating an education document that shows us who's doing what in our buckets of work. So that's
Can you check that document again?
Oh, thank you. Yes, to put it up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because it looks like you're referring to.
I yes, I was assuming you could all see what I could see.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. You're right. I was like, I think I was even referring to it, black and white style. Okay, so that's this top bullet. So that's something that Sam's has some interest in there. It looks like.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really great idea, because I think it's really unclear mostly. I know I was trying to, I guess I don't have a good connection, but I was trying to look at the story, but it's called the Ulster County, and they have one called Community Resources, so maybe some of that's already in there, I don't know, but I'm not able to really see it.
Yeah.
Could someone remind me, what is an NGO?
Non-government organization, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was just yeah. Great. Okay, so that's out there. We've talked a little bit already about fundraising and development. So here's some direct goals that could go into that bucket of work. We've talked a little bit about measurement and storytelling. Still have a little bit of a goal of a clear dashboard for Well Kingston's projects. I think that we are moving closer to that direction now with some clearer goals. So I think just some thinking through of what to measure. If anyone's interested in that, I would love some thought partnership on that. We've talked a little bit, I think a lot of what we do can be communications and marketing. And so we did do a successful campaign in 2025. And I was sort of thinking that one goal would be to do 4 of them. So I think that is possible to do. And we would think through what each campaign's goal would be. What is it that we're trying to communicate and put out there? And of course, along with that, we'll be creating some marketing materials. And then down here, some of our governance questions. So we did a strategic reflection. That was a really big accomplishment that we did in 2025, and I thank you all for that. My question here, so these were things that we had identified a year ago. Do we feel like roles and responsibilities have been clarified? And if not, maybe that's part of that welcome packet that we're talking about, or part of those education materials. But that's still a bit of a question out there. We do know how many commissioners the Well Kingston needs. It's this, what this number is here. So that's kind of resolved. The connection to the Common Council, one great update is, so it's a new year. Every year, the Common Council assigns the liaisons to each commission, and we just got assigned Michelle Hirsch, who is the, what's her title, Anthony?
To the majority leader.
She's the majority leader, thank you. So she was not able to make it tonight because she had another conflict, because it's a week earlier than we normally meet. When I told her that we normally meet on the third Wednesday, she said, great, I hope to try to join you next month. So I'm really pleased that Michelle might be able to join us in the future. Still, maybe identify some specific.
I have a question. Was
Yes.
Michelle Hirsch, was that her choice or was she assigned it? I'm just curious.
I believe that Council President Shout assigns the older people their commissions, but I think that they always seem well aligned. So I'm sure that there's some input that is given. And Michelle has been very supportive of our work in the past. She was on the Food Systems Plan Task Force, and I've presented our work to her in the past, and so I'm so pleased that she will be our liaison.
Thank you.
Great.
Is there still, did you do like a report back to the commission last year at the end of the year?
Did not do a report back to the commission.
So that's not like something that's a routine thing.
No,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I was wondering maybe, so if it isn't, maybe that's something that we could talk to Michelle about, a way to, because I know in our previous conversations around the Common Council, one of the issues has been like, do we feel like the Common Council really understands who we are and what our goals are? And could we be more maybe strategic with how we're, presenting back to the Common Council what we're doing, or any requests that we have for them? But like, maybe that's something we could bring to Michelle. Because that I would imagine that's kind of her role in some ways, is to be a liaison, is to be like a connector, right, to the Common Council.
I think that's exactly it, yeah. And I thank you for identifying that to the reporting back to the commission. And in fact, I have a little bit on our agenda. I had presented to you all what I was sort of starting was the report for 2025 a little bit. And I think that could be some of that foundation of what we would present to them.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to touch on it a little bit more, but yeah, the actual getting on their agenda is the next step, I think. Love that. Let's say the next one was about how do we leverage the being a part of the Department of Health and Wellness, right? So I think there's some more thinking to happen there to really maximize. Not every commission has a department that really aligns with their work. Climate Smart does, but there are definitely other commissions that don't have that, and so how do we get the most out of it? I think that's something we can keep thinking about. How do we create opportunities for commissioners with different commitments, right? So there's the idea that some people don't have the capacity or time to come to a meeting monthly, but maybe they still have something that they'd like to give and participate or give feedback on. So that's a lot of thought partnership on how to bring people in with for different roles. So that's something to keep thinking about. Community engagement, we want to involve the community more. We would love to have the commissioners, you all, to help promote it more in the community. I got your umbrellas, use your umbrellas, people. Commissioners, there's a connection to Common Council, again, that we identified as a priority. And for me, I have highlighted the recruit new members for the commission that are representative of the Kingston community. And then finally, recruit new members for the focus teams. So for me, ever since I even came in this position, I've been constantly recruiting. So this is an ongoing process for any coalition. You'll always have people coming in and out. And but I think wonderfully, maybe Arlene and Aisha can help us think through that welcoming process. And but also I would ask you all to think about, Linda's doing a great job thinking if there's people out there that we want to specifically ask to come into us, and also with a bit of a lens of who's not in the room currently and who do we want. I believe Arlene is a Spanish speaker, but I would love some more Spanish speakers in our group here. I would love to have more people that represent our community in lots of different ways. Anisha, yes, you raised your hand, please.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add to that. I am native Bengali speaker, so I do speak Bangla. So I may be able to cater. I know the population and the community for Bengali people in Kingston is very nominal. It's not a lot, but it's growing. And yeah, I mean, I can adhere to that if there's a need to that. I just wanted to lay out there that I do speak Bangla. So yeah.
Thank you. Love sharing that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Part of what we want to start thinking about is for the members of our community that we have not traditionally had in a little bit. Okay, so that was my full document there. Are there things that we already heard quite a lot of energy around creating a welcoming process. Sam has expressed some interest in the the landscape assessment. I definitely am feeling a strong pull about some marketing and communication materials this year. And I see maybe that one of those first campaigns to be about our open positions and the roles that people can play in the commission. Are there other buckets of work here that people are interested either in working on themselves or see as a real priority for this commission that we should bring to the top of the work list to do? Any thoughts?
I have a question. How would you bring that document up again, please? I'm sorry. Yes, how would we bring about raising it? I'm just thinking that it's perhaps out of the possibility. How would we bring about raising mortality rates? Doesn't that seem beyond us?
Not with that attitude.
Well said.
Yeah,
somebody talk me through this.
Yeah, I can try. I don't know that mortality rates is our measurement for success, but I think that the work that we're doing hopefully would improve life expectancy. But I don't know that that's the goal we're trying to reach. I don't know. Do you have anything?
No, it's very hard to really impact mortality in the short term, right? That's a long-term goal, but
would you speak more slowly? I'm having a little trouble.
Sorry, I was saying I don't think that we could expect to impact, decrease mortality. That's a very long-term goal, but you can use short-term markers or short-term, shorter-term outcomes, like increasing some of these other. I don't think we actually said we're going to work on these health outcomes, but if we were going to try, you would try to work on some of these others that contribute to mortality, like, obesity, which I think we are working on sort of indirectly with access to healthy food and the increasing SNAP and
physical activity.
Yeah, I think actually a lot of what we're doing already could impact obesity. And as we know, obesity really impacts a lot of the other mentioned poor outcomes like maternal mortality, diabetes mortality. Yeah, but I don't think our goal can really be to decrease mortality. But that's sort of the end game, right? And everything else that we try to do. Well, make people healthier.
I was thinking sort of the thing that we do now, but will not know about it. Will not know about it because we will be long gone by then. Does that make sense?
Well,
yes.
One way I would say is I want everyone to live a long life, but actually I sort of feel like live a long life is more about the quality of life. I actually think it's more about, so I think our outcomes are more about the quality of life. there's a little bit, I don't know if that's a clear distinction or not. Aisha, I see you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Yes, sorry, I just keep raising and then lowering again. But just wanted to add to that. I mean, if you look at, it's a very long-term goal when you're talking about mortality rate. But if you just look at datas and just the life expectancy of countries, which are, they have very higher, people living for a longer age, and if you go through their lifestyle and their diet habits, you would see symptoms. Like let's say just a country that comes to my mind right now is like Japan. How they have a very large group of older people. And if you just, I mean, I don't know if anyone has been to Japan or know anyone, friends, family, and just the way their lifestyle is, the way their food pattern is, and their way of working, and older people keep working, just to keep themselves active. So these all I want to say, is like small things we won't be able to see this right away, but this will be carried through the next generations, and which I deeply care about, and it will be carried through that, and they will carry it, and sometime it will have a great impact as a community as a whole, and the small changes will add up to something very big. And if not anything, the consciousness, we would be able to instill the way of life and the value of life into the people and into the children. And I think that is the whole point. I mean, that was my thought.
Well said. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Wonderful.
I think just another comment I would make is I think the idea of also bringing in this information, this data, is for us as a commission to and for the focus groups as well to be cognizant of like new data that's coming out, new insights that are coming out from assessments like this. So I think and to see like, well, are there any need for any changes to what we're doing because of the data that's coming out. So I think that's like also the goal of this section of like bringing these things up to the commission, like the assessment, the health assessment.
I agree with all that. Yeah. All right, and another call for any things that are coming up. Sam, you have lots of thoughts. Do you want to chime in?
No, I think most of it's captured on the document there. I would say, just tagging on to the conversation we're just having around kind of leading and lagging indicators of health and quality of life. There's a really good case study from Somerville, Mass, where they essentially, as a Live Well for Somerville, if you would, same commission, a lot of the same tactics we're discussing here, and they had a pretty remarkable outcome where they were able to measure kind of before and after on childhood obesity, and it's a really great case study for how commissions like this can, even in a short window, being maybe a couple of years, have measurable impact through improving access to healthy foods and things like that. So Kyle, you hit on, the research is really awesome, and there are commissions in similar sized cities to us doing similar things that do have an impact. So I think the overall thing would be, and I think this is a good conversation on like, what are those meaningful indicators that we want to track, right? Like that's what makes the Somerville case study so salient, is that they picked childhood BMI and did, a nice longitudinal before and after study of that, and had a really great data-driven narrative to share because they had this one really important data point that they measured. So I don't know if I know exactly what we should measure as Live Well, but just directionally that feels important to have. What are those small handful of North Star metrics that we should really rally on and try to improve in the course of months and years, to the broader sentiment around improving lifetimes. But yeah, I think the measurement question of this is really pertinent and interesting.
Love that. And maybe you can continue to help us think that through. That's wonderful. Also, if you want to do more research, you keep doing this great research work. Sam, Live Well Greenville. I think it's South Carolina. That was what the goal was based on. They shifted their focus to a lot of equity work. So they used to have all the wells as well, and they now just have 3. And I think it might be physical activity, nutrition, and equity. And so that's an interesting structure as well.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Rec.
Yeah. All right. I feel like we've got a lot here.
Emily, would you repeat your, I wrote down Live Well, Green Well in Massachusetts. What was your suggestion?
Little Greenville, I think was my suggestion. Sam's was Somerville. Did you say
Okay.
Massachusetts, Sam?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's by Boston Street.
Yeah.
Greenville, South
right.
Carolina.
South Carolina?
Just shape up Somerville, I think is what you're talking about, Sam. It's like a-
That's right. And I'll link it in the doc here too.
Okay, thank you.
Also, when we see what data Ulster County has already, I mean, this is, I think, their first year, right? It's 2025 to 30. That's just what they're listing as the dates of it. So they may just have some preliminary data.
Yeah.
But, it could be just more relevant and more specific than the data we had from the other health needs assessment. So maybe something will come out of that we can focus on, like something more specific and like local.
Yep. I agree with that. Yeah.
Also, the data is county data, not city data. That's always been a limitation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's a lot of the thinking that I hear Sam talking about is, what should be our measurement, what should be our kind of gold star that we're moving towards, because childhood obesity, if we wanted to go in that direction, I think we would have to bring in school partners, for example.
Yes.
And so currently, that's not exactly our role. So we would want to think that through if we wanted to have.
But I think the schools, according to Kristen, already have some obesity programming going on. I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Kingston City School District. They do fabulous work. The Creating Healthy Schools and Communities grant that we've been working on has been a bit of that.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of obesity assessment as a part of that. That wasn't the indicators that we used.
Right. I think it's very hard to do. I think,
Yeah.
I worked on this Healthy Schools, Healthy Families grant
Yeah.
for years, in New York City, and we never ever measured kids.
Yeah.
You can't really do that. You can't just try to impact healthy eating and stuff like that. So it's a more indirect measurement of habits than actual BMIs, which is kind of really hard to do.
Sam, I see you're muted and nodding your head. Do you want to say something?
Just agreeing.
Yeah, cool. Wonderful. All right. I do want to keep us moving along a little bit. What I'm thinking here is we've definitely sort of identified a few things to work on. How about I try to digest this a little bit, come up with a little bit of an action plan for next month. We can keep refining it, we can keep adding it or taking it off, but why don't I take that next step to sort of try to frame it out a little bit for us to review.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help out with like some of the marketing materials. That's
Yeah.
let me think about like how we could. I mean, it's kind of similar to the welcoming packet, but it's more for an external audience. And I could also see this be valuable for like fundraising too. So maybe we could think about it. I'm sure there's various different audiences that could benefit from something like this. But I know we have the website. I know we go with a new. So I'd be curious to see. Maybe we could have a fall conversation.
Yes. Can I bring you and Sam together? Maybe we can get coffee and
Yeah, sure.
some of that?
Yeah, sounds good.
That would be fantastic. So I'm Sam's interested. If anyone else is interested, you're welcome as well. Don't mean to exclude anybody. Just
Because that's the engaged role, right? So yeah, that sounds good. But that's Sam's role.
I mean, but don't forget that just because someone has a role doesn't mean that no one else can work on it. The idea is that person is just going to make sure that we don't forget about it. So don't want to prevent anyone from doing any work ever. So that's never a goal. Okay. So thank you all for that. I'm going to bring us back to our agenda. So we just talked about our potential commission projects. I think we came up with some good next steps. Similar to great segue, Kyle. So what I had also put on the agenda, I want to show you a little bit of work that I got a chance to do. What did I show? I believe that I already shared with you all an earlier draft of this document where I laid out for each focus team some of our achievements in 2025. And it was very bullet pointy. And so to your point about presenting to the commission, we've never really done an annual report. We've never needed to because a funder's never really, we've done sort of 3-year reports, but we've never done an annual report. Funder hasn't asked us to. And because we don't really have our own budget, we don't need to publish our financials. So I did start to put this document together, and my hope was I was going to present it to you all. My question is, what is the best way to present this information? And is there key information that I have forgotten? So if you don't mind, I'm going to go through it a little bit, and you don't have to give me answers now. The link is in the agenda, and you can always give me feedback at another time. So the real meat of it is these achievements that we did as a commission and as our focus teams. I'm not going to read each one, but they're very similar to what I presented to you in the past. In addition, for every annual report, there's always a message from the director or the chair. So I tried to write up something, and we really have had quite a few changes happen. So my department was a department of 3. We're now down to 1, but we've done great work. And so I tried to draft something. I would love, you don't have to read it in this moment, but I would love feedback on any of that. Anthony, as our new chair, if you wanted to write something, you are welcome to. Anyone else who wanted to play that role, you would be welcome to as well. Usually what I've seen in other annual reports is a little bit of talk about the structure and the participants. So a little bit of a synopsis of people that have participated in LiveWell. I also think there's an opportunity there to thank people for the work they do, because then I think that people do love to be recognized for the work they do, and that might help bring in some other people. So I went through and did our commission, our city staff, some of our focus team members, and some of our partner organizations for the year. That's just the outline. Then I had the thought of maybe recognizing someone who is not on the commission necessarily, but for example, Cindy and Lori are people that I keep trying to be on the commission, but they just love doing the work that they do, and they are doing really fabulous work. So I had an idea of maybe doing a little bit of a profile or a spotlight. And then I don't know if we want to or not, but we could mention how much this work, the value of this work. So it takes money to do this type of work. And maybe there is a benefit to showing how much it takes to do and how much we might want to fundraise, what we would need to be sustainable. So we don't have to publish our financials, no one's asking us to, but it's a little bit of a question there if you think that's beneficial or not. And that's basically the content that I've created. So again, the questions are, what information is missing, what have I forgotten? Do we think that this is valuable? And if so, what's the best way to put it out there? So one way is we just make it look like a beautiful PDF and we publish it on our website. Another way is we could make it its own page on the website and it's just a single page. There might be other creative ways to do it as well. So asking for some feedback. And again, don't have to give it to me tonight. You can always give it to me later. Any thoughts?
I think it's really valuable and important. I don't actually really have good experience with how best to publicize it, though.
Yeah.
But I do think it's really well done and really summarized. It's really great just to summarize what each of the focus groups has done.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, I think having the achievements in one place is good, and I think it's good to keep track of that.
Thank you, thank you. Any thoughts about format? You know, you can use a Canva template and make a PDF.
Yeah, I was thinking about Canva.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is great. I think I like the idea of the health champion. I think telling more, like maybe pictures and like bringing in some pictures, bringing in some more like color to it. Obviously, I know this is just an outline, but thinking about like the final product, pictures, stories, quotes from people would be great. Like I like that health champion idea to kind of tell some more stories, make it more, you know, personalize it, yeah, to talk about the people that are being impacted, or the people that are the change agents, people that are making an impact would be great. So, yeah, bring it all. So I think doing it. I don't know if anyone has like graphic, not really graphic design, but someone that has experience with Canva. I have a little bit of experience, not that much, but I definitely think of something like Canva, and then maybe having a page. I think also having a page on the website would be good too.
Yeah. I think the page is nice too. Yeah. It's just right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you have lots of nice photos already on your website, so probably you could.
Yeah, we both have some great photos, and sometimes I feel like it's never enough.
Yeah.
But we have some good photos, and it's a good reminder to, you know, as we do, like for example, when we do the Grow Well Garden tour, we do definitely take some photos. But Nettie did all this great tabling for our age round group, and I asked, I didn't think to ask her to take a photo. So we don't have a photo of that, for example. But it's a good reminder to take photos, document things as we go, all that. Okay. So wonderful. I'm hearing positive feedback that it's a good project to keep working on. I'll leave the link in the agenda and notes so you can go in there if you want to read it and give me any feedback. I would appreciate it. And because I don't have a code now to do my proofing, so yeah, I'm going to ask you all to do some of that work for me.
Could you repeat what you just said about the code? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
The code. Was that about proofing it?
Emily, what you just said? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
So I was saying I'm going to leave the link to this in the agenda, and if you all have time to go and read through it and give me your edits, please do. Kristen was one of, I often would have her read my things before I put them up. It's always good to have a second set of eyes. Since I don't have her, I'm going to ask you all to help me out with that a little bit more.
And does since Aisha and I are going to be working together, does Aisha have access to this?
Hopefully anyone all the Google documents that I share with you are usually all public for comments. So hopefully.
Okay, I was worried that it was just the commissioners, and I'm not sure Aisha has committed yet.
I love that you're setting me up for my question for her. Yes, thank you. Hopefully, so of course, as always, if there's a document or something that you can't access, please let me know. Wonderful. So thank you for letting me tell you about that draft report. Before we get to announcements and communications, Aisha, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you did apply to be on the commission. Do you want more time to think about it? Would you like to become a commissioner? Do you have any thoughts on that right now?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to, but to be honest, I don't really know what the duties are and what it entails to. Like, I'm not very sure about that. But yeah, I mean, I love the idea. But if I could have a draft or the requirements or more examples of more like what contributions are needed. I just need more a clear idea of all of it. So. I mean, this is my very first meeting, so I'm just taking it all in.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot. If you, it's more like if you said, yes, I'm ready to go, then I might have, since we're all here, we would make a vote. But it sounds like, Aisha, you want to think about it a little bit more, which is absolutely fine. So I'm not going to ask the commission to do a vote on it tonight.
So when you're talking about the commissioner, is it for the specific groups like maybe the Eat Well or the Live Well, or you already have a commissioner for those groups as well?
No, so the roles that are open are development, eat well, age well, grow well, travel well.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I just explain something maybe? Because I was very confused for a long time. I'm on the commission for a year and it maybe took me 6 months really to figure out the structure. Remember, because you were going through all these structural changes, but so I just want to maybe explain, hopefully this may make it more clear to you from my perspective. So the Live Well Commission, we're like the kind of the overseeing group. We're like the general organization. And so we meet here once a month on the third Thursday at 4:15. We really encourage in-person participation when possible because it's just a little bit easier to get things done. And then there are sub-roles. So everyone who's on the Live Well Commission takes another role that links that subgroup to sort of the overall work that the commission is trying to do, which is really improving the general health of Kingston. So these sub-commissions, which are called focus groups, are people, if they can, will pick a focus group that meets their sort of more of their interests, whether it's grow well or live well or age well, and they try to attend those meetings as well and connect that focus group to the overall commission. So the commission is somewhat of sort of an amalgam of all these little focus groups, but it is larger than that. It does it has other projects and other activities that they try to do. But the general idea is just to improve the health. It's more like the public health of Kingston residents in terms of making sure there's access to healthy food, access to green spaces, opportunities for seniors to get access to care. And those are some of the things, but it is a little bit of an amorphous concept and it's in flux. Each month we try to meet together and figure out how we can focus our activities for this general goal, but there's not really specific requirements for a commissioner, just an interest in kind of public health and then an ability to come to monthly meetings and some ability to do work on projects in between, I would say. Yeah. Did that help?
Yes.
Wonderful. Remember a couple of months ago, I gave you all a pop quiz to see if you could do the elevator speech. You just aced that quiz. I mean, that was fabulous. Thank you.
I'm a good student. Spending years being a student.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm gonna we'll wrap up with an invitation to do announcements and communications. So this is always an opportunity, and all what we do is in our focus teams as well, for folks to, if you are engaged in another organization and they have a project that you'd like to share about, if you know of any open job opportunities, if you know of an event that's happening in our community that you think that we would benefit from here. So this is an opportunity for some announcements and communications. We talked quite a bit about the community health assessment. There it is again. And then we did already mention the food systems plan. I'll just mention that is basically wrapping up now, and that was a big project we worked on for a long time. Those are my announcements and communications. I'm gonna go around the room first, and then I'll go to Zoom. Kyle, got anything you wanna share with the group?
Nope, I don't think so.
Oh, okay, so not much happened in the room here. Anybody on Zoom? Anything you guys want to share on Zoom? Sam? Arlene, there you go. Go ahead.
I wanted to say that I'm reading that book you recommended.
Map.
I'm sorry, I forgot the title.
The Ghost Map? Is that the one
The
you're
Ghost
reading?
Map. The Ghost Map, yeah.
Is it good? I also read it over the holidays. Fabulous.
It's good, right?
I loved it. And it overlapped planning, health, community health, and then a little bit of graphic design, which is my past life.
So it was so interesting.
Loved it. Fabulous.
What's it called? Ghosts?
The ghost map,
The ghost map, okay.
and I listened to the audiobook, that still counts.
Oh, yeah, the audiobook,
Yes.
fan actually.
Good.
But I read the Ghost Map, I'm proud to say. I don't read a lot of audiobooks, but I did read that one.
Sam, anything in your world you'd like to share?
Nothing super top of mind. Thank you.
Aisha, last chance. Any other questions or anything you'd like to share with us before we call our meeting to a close tonight?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, thank you all. Thank you for a great January meeting. I'll see you in February on the third Wednesday of the month at our usual time. And I'll send out a meeting reminder. Thank you, everybody. Great to see you.
Good night.
Actually, I have
Thanks, team. Cheers.
a secretarial question. Because I'm going to
Oh, right, you're gonna